Yeah, man. Um, first things first. First things first is, like I was saying before I went on, understanding understanding who King James is. King James and King Leopold. King James. King James, like you can just do basic research on this, and and you'll definitely probably find more. But King James was a bona fide homosexual, and a true homosexual, and they say he was so weird and so strange, and he hated women so much that he killed his own mother. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you can definitely find an extremely chauvinistic air against women. This second class chauvinistic nature against women. You know what I'm saying? And how they've and this is pretty much every religion. Islam shares that same old chauvinistic air, Arabism bullshit. You know what I'm saying? The only culture that is true to the feminine energy, and that's what I got on, man. You know what I'm saying? I represent that feminine. I love that feminine energy too. You gotta have that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta understand the true divinity in the feminine energy. You know what I'm saying? And the only culture that shed light and gave the true the true acknowledgement to the grand feminine mother energy is ancient Kemet. You know, it's very interesting that that the European would hate the woman so much. That it would totally take out the spiritual aspect of the divine feminine. You know what I'm saying? And it would replace her with a spoof. In what you call today the Holy Ghost. Father, Son, and that's just bullshit. It's mother, father, son. You know what I'm saying? Mother, father, son. You know, for real. And that's where you have Osiris, Heru, and Isis. Osiris, Isis, Heru, however you want to call it. But ultimately, the divine feminine being Isis. And that's where you get Genesis from. Genesis means genes of Isis. You know, um, so all these things, make up, you know, a way better picture, for what we need to, for the direction we need to have. Understanding ancient Kemetic culture, understanding, all the everything in the Bible, every concept in the Bible came out of ancient Egypt. You know what I'm saying? The story of Adam and Eve came from Enki and Ninti. Where Enki was walking through the garden, and he picked up some bad herbs, and he got sick, and Ninti came along and healed him. And that story completely backwards, completely, the other way, just from how we've been perverted in Christianity. And it had the woman healing the man. You know what I'm saying? Giving him the fruit of life. You know what I'm saying? Giving him the wisdom and knowledge of life. You know what I'm saying? So just the whole way that things have been turned over. Moses being Imhotep. Moses being Imhotep. You have the tomb in Egypt, El Lazarus. For Lazarus. Heru ultimately becoming, Jesus. And them perverting Osiris' story into, this old, spoof God. In the First Testament, where you don't know what they got going on with God in the Old Testament. It's just wild. If it wasn't for Jesus in the Bible, that the Bible would just be a bloodbath, man. And that's just the downright truth. It's just the downright truth. And any biblical scholar knows that what I just said is nothing but the downright truth. You know, and I'm really glad that I can break that down for you. So you can understand why there's such a chauvinistic air against women in the Bible, and also, when I apologized earlier for, to Union Baptist in the church, but understand that I'm asking the real questions, obviously I must be, because I asked Reverend Stanley as I would ask any pastor, pope, my mother, you know what I'm saying, father, grandmama, if why, if God didn't have anything to do with Cain and Abel, not even the devil didn't even have nothing to do with Cain and Abel, God, I mean Satan, Lucifer, the devil, whatever you call them, they ain't have nothing to do with it. Neither one of them had anything to do with it. So how do you get God, especially in the Old Testament, telling everybody to do all that sick shit? You know what I'm saying? And ultimately, it's because, like I said, it's the sickest thing in the world. But the white man, inked himself in as God in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? In his history, it's totally parallel with it. He was killing everybody at the beginning because they didn't believe what he believed. And he was scared of what they were doing. And he called it evil, voodoo, satanic, and witchcraft or whatever. Shit, he even killed up thousands of his own women. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't believe what he believed, and just because they understood something that he didn't, he killed them. And ultimately, that's what it was. That's why they was killing everybody. They didn't believe what they believed because they didn't understand what the hell everybody else was doing, which ultimately brings me to, brings you to the saying that people feel what they don't understand. Just like I was saying earlier, you know what I'm saying? That ultimately the European killed, the Indians, and the Tasmanians, and the 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 the, the good old Lucayan Indians, and our ancestors, because they didn't know what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? And we knew the total science of the unseen. That's all that voodoo is, the science of the unseen. That's what God is. God is the science of the unseen. You know what I'm saying? And they end up calling it voodoo when they don't understand the shit, and evil when they don't understand the shit, and they still trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And they trying to keep you from it, and they don't want you to know this shit. So that's ultimately what you get when the real voodoo is their culture. It is this whole fake ass, deceptive, lying ass American motherfucking culture. This whole fucking backwards, self-destructive ass culture that they got everybody fucking in. You understand? You know. So this is really what you have, and so I'm really proud that I can break down. I'm really proud that I can break down who King James was, because he's nothing no more than a motherfucking name on the front of the Bible. You understand? I mean, hell, a young goddamn kid in 2013 think King James is a motherfucker with a basketball. You understand? You understand? Say King James, hell, they think goddamn LeBron wrote the Bible. You know, and that's just real. But this is so you know exactly who you're really dealing with, exactly why you're really dealing with these things. You know what I'm saying? And the other figure that I wanted to break down is King Leopold